Good afternoon. My name is Olu Jabari, one of the co-founders of what's called the L.E.A.D, Leaders, Elders, and Democrats. Yes, it is Sunday, it's the Valentine's Day, and we're still here. We have a special guest today who we're interviewing, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself to you. We are following the protocol of CDC. We have masks on, and the place is very sterilized, and we will be removing them for further comments. So I'm going to turn it over to our special guest.
Good afternoon. My name is Saima Khalil. I'm excited to be here this afternoon with Olu Jabari. Olu and I met over the summer. We were both involved in different political campaigns. I was involved with a prosecutor race here in Macomb County, and Olu was involved in his state rep race, and we both supported one another. And I'm super excited to be here this afternoon with Olu. And I look forward to talking more about his ideas for making progressive changes and reform in Macomb County. I'm a defense attorney in Macomb County. I've been essentially practicing almost exclusively in Macomb since I got my license about 8 years ago, I think it is now. So I'm looking forward to our discussion, Olu.
Right.
Person that's making a vote or placing a vote for a candidate based on name recognition isn't necessarily looking out for their entire community or even themselves, because all they're saying is, oh, I recognize this name, they've been there forever, so they must be doing it right. But that is far from the truth of it. You have to think about when people are in positions of power and authority, what sort of decisions do they have power over, and how are they utilizing their power and authority? And I think we're living in a day and time right now where all the surrounding communities are working towards progressive change, and I think Macomb is stagnant in some ways. But I do see the movement, so I'm really excited about that.
Okay, and I think that in a nutshell that capsizes a lot of information. You ran a campaign, you ran for prosecutor, like you said, and I ran for state rep. And I found it interesting that as we ran these campaigns and worked together cohesively, that you can see and you can feel that when you run it, you can feel the power that you have, the spirit that God has given you spiritually inside to do this the right way. What do you believe the person that's running for political office in Macomb County, can you give me a value that they should have that's going to work for the people of Macomb County? What are some of the values you believe they should have?
Person who runs for public office in Macomb County has to have deep commitment to all of the people. It shouldn't be, it's for me or my select group of people or my party. That's not where loyalty lies. Your loyalty is to your entire community. I can really appreciate people that are honest with their community, that are forthcoming, that value transparency, because this is government. We're talking 100% about really taxpayer money. People that seek unity among everybody. Those are the qualities that I think are super valuable to someone in office. If you're going to be a divisive figure, if your loyalty is just, I'm of this party and everything everybody else says is fundamentally wrong and I'm not going to listen to them, you're not making any gains, you're not helping your community, and you're really just focused about what you want and your needs, and you have an agenda that you're trying to push forward. And that to the exclusion of so many other people.
That is right on point with my next question, and then I'll go into some of the things that we want to do as the L.E.A.D, as an organization. And the other question I had is, as a community person, removing all types of titles from all of us, just being from an intrinsic perspective, from an inside out, can you tell me something that you think you can offer to someone that's new, someone that's fresh, someone who has no sense of what it means to run for public office? What type of information do you think you could give them?
You know, it's interesting you asked that question, because when I joined the prosecutor race over the summer, I walked in knowing Absolutely nothing.
Mm.
It was, I mean, to the point where it didn't even dawn on me that I should be at all the precincts until the weekend before the actual primary date.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's how much I did not know about running a race. So one thing that I learned on one of the Zoom calls that I was on is everybody just help everybody. If you're gonna hold back, what's the gain in holding back information from someone else? And that to me was a really powerful thing to say, because I'm in this race with the hope that I win it, and you might be in the same race as I am.
Sure.
But wouldn't it be better if we had the attitude and approach of what you're saying, which is let's all talk about it, let's share ideas, let's help each other. Like, tell me how that could possibly be a negative. So I've taken the position, I take that to heart.
Okay.
And since, since I ran and I didn't make it, and it's fine, but one of my rules is I will help anybody, because I want to see that, I want people to have that attitude of not being afraid to help someone else. There's nothing frightening. You should feel empowered when you help somebody.
And I think that as we wrap up the interview, remember the interviews when we talk to people is specifically not to bash anybody, not to put people on their heels, but for people to be themselves. Because most interviews are framed where we're going to give you questions. If you don't answer this question right, we're not saying that. We're saying what can you bring to the interview that we can bring to the community. And I think you have brought that information. As we wrap up, there's going to be about 14 different workshops that we're going to do. And these workshops will be given by professionals, people in the community, even people possibly like yourself, that your profession is one where we have to have. It's something that cannot be overlooked. And I think that it has been, but as the panel, as we move forward and we do bigger and broader things, we want to make sure that we can support people who are supporting us. And then those who are not supporting us, let's find out how we can bring them to the table and find out what's missing. You said something important, and then we'll wrap up. If we're running a race, let's see how we can help each other, everybody. This panel is specifically, broadly about, it's about that. If you're running for mayor and I'm running for mayor and we're both Democrats, let's find out who the better person is and let's back that person. No sense both of us running and wasting all that money. So that's what we're about. And some of the workshops that we're going to have are, fundraising, how to do a great fundraising, retention, how to keep your volunteers, hosting event, co-hosting, grassroots, digital campaigning, media communication, fundamentals of marketing, and one of my favorite ones is knowing your base, knowing your person that you're running against. I always say this, no one knows you until you know them. So we're going to wrap up this interview, and I always like to leave last words to our guests, and I'm going to ask her, is there anything else she wants to leave us with? Thank her for coming out on this Valentine's Day. It's beautiful outside. Well, we're going to turn it over to you, Ms. Cahill. Anything you want to say in closing remarks?
Running for public office is frightening. It's a ton of work, but I believe we have a duty to our community. So if you have something to contribute, you should absolutely give back, and that's one of the best ways to give back.
Love it. And that's going to do it. We're going to wrap up this interview with the panel with our guest, Ms. Cahill. She's awesome. Look her up. I know a lot about her, but you look her up and see what she's doing. So we're going to make sure we support her and everything she's doing, whether she's part of the panel or not. We're still family. Thank you.